He smiled while you spoke, but Archangel Michael saw the darkness behind it. You wouldn't believe who it was. The smile came on the third day after you prayed. Not just any prayer, but the kind that splits the heavens in silence and releases questions that only angels are permitted to answer. It was the kind of prayer whispered through weariness, wrapped in frustration, and soaked in sacred longing. You didn't know what would be unlocked when you prayed it. You only knew that something inside you had shifted. And then came the smile. Not from a stranger. Oh, it came from someone familiar. Someone who sat across from you, nodded as you spoke, and wore that grin like a blessing. But Archangel Michael was already standing behind them. And what he saw was not kindness. It was cover. It was camouflage for a deeper scheme hidden behind teeth and timing. In the stillness of dawn, when all seemed at peace and your heart was beginning to exhale, heaven interrupted your relief. The Spirit of the living God sent Michael not with a sword, but with sight. A divine alert. A warning encrypted in silence. Because not every peace is from God. Some silences are setups. Some smiles are snares. You were chosen not just to speak, but to see. And heaven knows you're ready now. That eerie calm you felt after that encounter. That strange release followed by subtle confusion. That wasn't resolution. It was redirection. You weren't supposed to follow that smile. You were supposed to question it. This message isn't for everyone. It's not for the casual listener or the curious skeptic. It's for the spiritually sensitive, the ones who have walked through too much to ignore a divine nudge, the ones who feel pressure behind pleasantries, the ones who hear conversations behind people's words, the ones who can still their soul enough to hear heaven speak in silence. You. This word is for you. Heaven waited for you to still your movements before the scroll was unsealed. The moment you ceased striving, the revelation was released. You've been obedient. Now prepare. Prepare to see what was always there but never spoken. Prepare to recognize what was masked with manners and timing. Prepare to discern. Because the Lord your God is about to pull the curtain back. And when he does, it will not be chaos. It will be clarity. Archangel Michael did not appear to frighten you. He came to frame what you missed and to protect what was being built within you. You are not imagining the shift. You are not paranoid. You are perceiving. There was a darkness behind that smile, and you were not meant to be deceived by it. This encounter has been timed by heaven. Not to destroy your trust in people, but to deepen your trust in God. You are being invited into revelation, not gossip. Into discernment, not division. Into spiritual depth, not emotional reaction. What silence protected, obedience will now unlock. You have been selected for divine insight. Stay still. Stay humble. Stay aware. Because what you saw was not a coincidence. It was a coded signal from the spirit realm. The smile was real, but the truth behind it was hidden. Until now. Type I am anointed in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1122 is now activated. In the next 48 hours, everything hidden behind that smile will begin to shift. This is the voice of the Archangel Michael, sounding not with thunder, but with clarity, not with wrath, but with revelation. Listen now, and listen carefully, for what is about to unfold was seen long before it was spoken. You thought it was a simple exchange. You thought your words floated innocently into the atmosphere. But in the spirit realm, your words carried weight. They carried fragrance. They carried truth, and truth has always been a threat to darkness. That smile you saw, it wasn't rooted in understanding. It wasn't laced with support. It was cloaked, an expression wrapped around a deeper deception. It held something back. It concealed what it could not confront. And while you were speaking with sincerity, a spirit whispered on the other side. Yes, you felt it, didn't you? You felt that twinge, that strange whisper of discomfort. Your words were true, yet something felt off. Not externally, not in the tone, but in the undercurrent, in the shadows behind the eyes, in the space where energy speaks louder than sound. You brushed it off. You tried to ignore it. You told yourself, maybe it's just me. But child of God, it was never just you. It was discernment. It was prophetic warning. It was heaven trying to speak while you kept trying to stay polite. You are not being paranoid. You are being awakened. There is a difference. This is not suspicion birthed by fear. This is discernment sharpened by fire. You have walked through storms that forge your perception. You have endured betrayal that trained your inner radar. You have been shaped by silence, refined by resistance, and strengthened by spiritual training grounds others will never understand. And now, heaven is entrusting you with sight, not for judgment but for protection. You were being watched in the spirit realm when you spoke. There was attention placed upon your obedience. There were spirits monitoring your posture. As you chose to be honest, as you chose to speak without bitterness, without accusation, without manipulation, angels stood in attendance. Michael stood guard. He stood between your mouth and the mouths that would twist your words. He stood between your vulnerability and the forces that desired to feed on it. He stood as heaven's sentinel, recording every nuance, every intention, every silent prayer behind your tone. And while a person smiled at you, something darker smiled through them. Yes, that's the part you felt but couldn't explain. There was a duality in that moment. The smile was visible, but the shadow behind it was spiritual. This is why you can't forget that moment. This is why your peace felt disrupted without explanation. It's because what you experienced was not flesh and blood. It was a veiled unveiling. This word is not for the curious. It is not for the wandering or the casual. It is not for the ones who treat prophecy like entertainment. Oh, this word is sealed for the chosen. This word is for those who live in consecration. This word is for those who walk circumspectly before the Lord. This word is for you. You who see more than you say. You who feel more than you reveal. You who weep in secret but war in the spirit. Be still now. Silence yourself. Not because you are powerless, but because power is already working for you. Be still, because you are on sacred ground. The veil is about to lift. Heaven is preparing to show you what your eyes were not allowed to fully register in the moment. The smile masked it, but heaven will unmask it. The false peace has expired, and the hour of revelation is upon you. The next 48 hours will bring clarity. Not chaos, clarity. But only if you remain in posture. Only if you remain still. A distraction will come. A temptation to confront will come. But do not move. Do not speak out of emotion. Do not break the seal of your spiritual restraint. Because what God is about to reveal will not be provoked. It will be unveiled. And if you speak prematurely, you will delay what heaven was preparing to expose effortlessly. You are not just being protected, you are being positioned. The veil is thin now. The watchers in the spirit realm are leaning in. Your silence has spoken louder than your cries. And because of that, Michael is near. His sword is drawn. The atmosphere is shifting. Heaven is moving. The lie behind the smile is about to break under the weight of your obedience. So, remain seated in spiritual stillness. The smile was real. The moment was divine. The warning is active. And the revelation is imminent. Type "I am chosen" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 666 is now surrounding you. Someone you trusted smiled with knowledge they never planned to share. That smile was not a moment. It was a message. A veil. A signal to the spirit realm. And you, child of discernment, felt it. The words they spoke were measured, but the energy behind them screamed of concealment. They knew something while they nodded. They saw something while they pretended not to. They carried an inner smirk while offering an outer smile. And deep inside, you felt a splendor form. After that moment, didn't you feel it? The shift. That strange tension that settled in the atmosphere like a fog that wouldn't lift. You walked away from that conversation trying to reason it out, trying to shake it off, trying to make it make sense, but it wouldn't. That spiritual discomfort lingered. Not because you were dramatic, not because you were oversensitive, but because the Spirit of God had shown you something. Not with your eyes, but with your spirit. There's gossip brewing in places your feet haven't entered, but your name has. People are carrying pieces of you they mishandled. Conversations about you are rising like incense before corrupted altars. Words twisted, motives misread, purity questioned. And all of it stemming from that smile, that moment when they looked into your eyes and chose to hide. That moment when your honesty was met with hidden hostility. The one who smiled knew more than they admitted. They'd already made a choice. They were already aligned. Already whispering. Already plotting. But hear this. You are not crazy. You are not unstable. You are spiritually awakened. What your flesh couldn't see, your soul detected. What your emotions couldn't explain, your spirit refused to ignore. There was a fracture, and your inner being picked up the frequency. Heaven saw the lie, and now it must be answered. The same moment you were speaking truth, their silence was silently agreeing with deception. But God does not allow the innocent to be mocked forever. What was suppressed in shadows will be summoned into light. You didn't provoke this. You didn't deserve this. But God, in His mercy, has chosen to use this. You feel the emotional disruption because your soul is trying to align with a truth that hasn't yet been spoken out loud. You're being stirred in ways that defy explanation. You found yourself weeping without reason, angry without cause, exhausted without labor. Why? Because you are carrying a prophetic tension. You are living in the middle of a spiritual contradiction, where everything looks peaceful on the outside, but war is raging in the unseen. That smile was not innocent. It was information, a spiritual signature of agreement with something ungodly. But child of God, you are covered. What disrupted your peace only confirmed your purpose. That lie, that silence, that performance, it was seen, and heaven has now determined it will be handled. Do not chase closure. Do not run toward confrontation. Your job is not to expose. Your job is to remain hidden until heaven finishes the unveiling. This disruption isn't punishment. It's preparation. God is sharpening your ears, sensitizing your spirit, and positioning you for the next phase of your calling. Because this pain will become a prophecy. The one who smiled will become a sign. And when their mask falls, you will remember, heaven warned me. Heaven covered me. Heaven prepared me. If this message resonates with you and you feel moved to support, consider giving a super thanks. with contributions of up to $10. Your kindness helps us bring more powerful content your way. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Don't forget to subscribe for exclusive content and prophetic words that keep your spirit strong in a shifting world. Type "I am chosen" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1515 is now breaking chains around you. This was never just a personal wound. This is warfare. You've been walking through a battlefield camouflaged in conversation. That moment you dismissed as strange. It was a spiritual collision. The smiling face was a facade. But what stood behind them, what tried to access your vulnerability, was an assignment of sabotage. This isn't emotional betrayal, it's a spiritual ambush. But even as you spoke, even as you opened your heart with integrity, Archangel Michael stood between your heart and harm. His wings surrounded your sincerity. His sword hovered between you and the snare. What you couldn't see, he was already battling. The smile never reached your soul because Michael stood in the gap. You weren't alone in that moment. You were surrounded. Understand this clearly. You were targeted not because of your mistakes, but because of your mantle. Your authority threatened them. Your growth unsettled them. Your anointing activated their insecurity. What they couldn't explain, they chose to attack. But heaven allowed it, not to harm you, but to reveal you. God uses hidden enemies to expose inner strength. He lets Judas dine at the table, not to confuse you, but to confirm your assignment. This conflict is not a distraction. It is a confirmation. You've been asking for clarity about your calling. You've been praying for insight into your next level. And here it is. This attack isn't a detour. It's a doorway. And your reaction, that's the test. That's what heaven is watching. That's what the angels are documenting. Not your tears, not your retaliation, but your restraint. Respond as the anointed, Michael declares. When the anointed are under fire, they do not flinch. They do not explain. They do not plead their innocence. They remain in posture, in power, in peace. Angels are recording responses before they deliver outcomes. Every moment you've chosen silence over slander, prayer over panic, grace over gossip, it has been documented in heaven's courts. You're not being ignored. You're being watched. And your response has already released favor. Because behind that smile, there was alignment. Not just human deception, but demonic agreement. Yes, a spirit was using their wound to reach for your weakness. A spirit used their past offense to channel fresh betrayal. This is not just personality, it's principality. But it is outmatch. Because heaven never sent you into battle without a covering. The darkness behind that smile has already been confronted. Michael didn't wait. He engaged it. And now, your next step is stillness. Because the war behind the words is being waged in the heavens. All you must do is endure without eruption. What felt like manipulation was actually manifestation. God allowed it to draw out your discernment. And now you know. Now you see. Now you discern. So take heart. This isn't the end of your peace. It's the beginning of your power. That smile didn't destroy you. It defined you. And heaven has already ruled in your favor. Type "I am anointed" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1777 is releasing angelic defense over your name. There is movement behind the curtain now. Quiet movement. Subtle gesture. whispers caught in the folds of digital corridors and hidden rooms. You sensed it, not with your ears, but with your spirit. There's a stirring taking place, not in front of you, but behind your back. Emails exchange under strange timing. Conversations you were left out of. Glances. Shifts in energy. Questions that never reached you directly, but targeted your name. Heaven says, don't panic. Don't chase. Don't confront. Observe. Because in the next 72 hours, their hidden intent is going to collide headfirst with divine interference. Their plans, neatly woven behind your kindness, are already being unraveled by angelic hands. The same one who smiled while you spoke is the same one now entertaining ideas that are rooted in envy, not alignment. They thought your silence meant ignorance. They thought your stillness was approval. But what they forgot is that heaven was watching. They smile in your presence, but they frown before altars. They bless you to your face and curse you in silence. And while you've been walking in authenticity, they've been building a narrative that heaven is about to shatter. Archangel Michael has already warned the watchers, those in spiritual ranks, touch not my anointed, and do my prophet no harm. That warning wasn't symbolic. It was activated. It was dispatched when you stayed quiet. It was triggered when you withheld your rebuttal. It was written in celestial ink when you refused to retaliate. Behind the scenes, jealousy is boiling. Not loud, not explosive, but passive, blight, dressed in fake support. You've been discerning it. You've been feeling the weight of it pressing against your peace. They are plotting, yes, but they are plotting against the God who assigned you, not just against the person you are. That is where their downfall begins. Their schemes are not against your personality, they are against your purpose. And because of that, heaven has issued a divine warning. Step lightly. Don't move out of retaliation. Don't respond to every vibration of fear. Don't try to fix what's falling apart behind closed doors. Let it fall. Let the mask slip, because you will see the crack form. The shift is already in motion. They will be exposed not by your hand, but by the God who stands behind your silence. Emotional pressure is rising for a reason. Not because you're breaking down, but because the spirit realm is approaching a climax. The tension in your chest, it's not anxiety, it's spiritual stretching. You're being ready to watch God fulfill His word without you having to fight for it. You're about to witness divine justice without lifting your voice. So hold your peace. Hold your posture. The lie they whispered is about to become their chain. The conversation they thought was secret has reached the courts of heaven. And the ruling, touch not. Divine consequences en route. And not out of revenge, but for the sake of order. For the sake of truth. For the sake of you. Type I will not be moved in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1999 has been activated to break sabotage before it starts. Archangel Michael says now, with the weight of heaven behind him, withdraw to win. Do not engage. Do not explain. Do not defend what heaven has already validated. This next season is not about being understood, it's about being preserved. Your vindication would come from arguments. It will come from the divine silence of your obedience. This is your time to shield, not shout. To step back, not step up. Silence is your weapon. Stillness is your armor. You do not need to prove what God has already protected. You do not need to speak where angels are already testifying. Every word that rises against you, seen or unseen, has now entered into a heavenly courtroom. The gavel has struck, and your defense is being written in the language of fire. Let nothing provoke your voice. Let nothing stir your flesh. The judge has ruled, and the angels have recorded it. Guard your heart with prayer. Guard your path with patience. This is not a time for reaction. It's a time for repositioning. There's a reason heaven told you to step back. There's a reason your spirit has been nudging you toward silence. You're not withdrawing in weakness. You're stepping into divine covering. Every time you refuse to react, heaven records a victory. Every moment you release control, you activate angelic movement. You've been misunderstood, misread, mistreated. But now, heaven is about to overturn the narrative. Every lie spoken against you is now being reversed. Not just erased, but reversed. The weapons formed will backfire. The tongues that rose will bite themselves. The plans created in silence will collapse in public. But you must not say a word. Your power is not in your voice this time. It's in your posture. Let the smile they used be the evidence God uses. Let their charm be their downfall. You don't have to explain anything. Your fruit will speak. Your peace will preach. Your anointing will shout without a sound. Every part of your journey has prepared you for this moment, not of reaction, but of redemption. You are walking under a divine shield now. Stay hidden until instructed. Do not emerge from this quiet place until Michael says, "Move." Heaven has surrounded you like a fortress. This isn't the end of the attack. It's the end of their access. They will not reach you again. They will not breach your soul again. You are divinely shielded. Stay clothed. Stay guarded. Stay silent. Because in the realm of the Spirit, your silence has a sound, and the darkness behind its smile is trembling at the volume of your restraint. Type "I am hidden" in God in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1221 has covered your name and future with angelic shielding. You are not their victim. You are their mirror. The same smile that sought to deceive you was merely reflecting their discomfort with your elevation. Hear me clearly now. Their smile wasn't affection. It was a reflex. A nervous reaction to the weight you carry. Because when people see your wings, they respond in two ways. They either honor your flight, or they fear it. And fear, when hidden behind a smile, always turns to sabotage. What they tried to hide from you was never meant to harm you. It was meant to reveal you. Every look of false support, every veiled word, every unspoken resistance you felt. These were heaven's way of marking the shift. You were never supposed to stay in agreement with what no longer aligns. You were never meant to sit comfortably in rooms that cannot accommodate your calling. And so, the betrayal came, not as a curse, but as a confirmation that you've outgrown their version of you. Yes, this is the season where heaven elevates by separation. What you thought was an ending is a graduation. And the one who smiled while you spoke, they didn't expect you to discern the shift. They didn't anticipate that your silence would be stronger than their schemes. They underestimated your growth. They couldn't see that while you were being quiet, you were being transformed. They didn't know the depth of fire you had walked through. They didn't realize that you were shedding old skin, rising through hidden ashes. This betrayal was your cocoon. It wasn't a fall, it was a formation. They thought you were retreating. But really, you were being refined. They thought you were shrinking. But truly, you were being shielded. They saw you bow your head and mistook it for surrender. But heaven saw you bow in obedience and began writing your promotion. You are not breaking. You are becoming. becoming something they never expected, never respected, never prepared for. And now, rise, not to retaliate, not to accuse, but to shine. Rise with confidence. Rise with clarity. Rise with the kind of authority that no betrayal can touch. You are not here to fight them. You are here to finish the assignment. You are not here to plead for peace. You are here to carry power. They saw your wings growing and feared your flight. But what they don't know is that your altitude has already changed. While they've been watching your actions, heaven has been measuring your posture. And you passed. You didn't curse. You didn't expose. You didn't defend. You waited. And because you waited, favor has found you. You are rising in silence, like a flame slowly claiming ground. Let them talk. Let them pretend. Let them smile. Your life will speak louder. Your fruit will announce what your mouth never had to. And what's coming next will leave no room for misunderstanding. Heaven's hand is clearly on you. You were never meant to fit in. You were meant to rise. And rise you shall. This is the moment you step into the divine fire. Not the fire of destruction, but the fire of emergence. You are transforming in silence, like gold under heat. The betrayal didn't break you. It baptized you. You are ready now. You've been processed in private, and now your wings have grown too wide for the boxes they kept you in. Type "I rise in power" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 3131 is lifting you beyond every attempt to bury your destiny. The betrayal had to happen. It wasn't just allowed. It was divinely orchestrated to open your next assignment. Archangel Michael didn't reveal the smile because of the person. He revealed it because of the plot. What you encountered wasn't just a light, it was a leak. Heaven let it slip so you could shift. You were never meant to build with blind eyes. You were never meant to move into your next with hidden leeches still attached. So God let the moment happen. He let you feel the fracture. He let you feel the eerie calm so that discernment could wake up inside of you. This wasn't about them. This was about you. The enemy didn't rise because of who you are today. He rose because of who you're becoming. And heaven, in its wisdom, chose this moment, this betrayal, to unlock the next level of your discernment. Because the truth is, God couldn't take you higher with undiscerning eyes. He couldn't entrust you with greater authority while you were still offering access to people who only celebrated you when you were smaller. That smile, it was a sign. The revelation wasn't in what they said, it was in what they couldn't hide. And you saw it. You felt it. And now, heaven confirms it. Your discernment has graduated. That tension you couldn't explain. That pause in your spirit. That chill down your spine when they smiled. That was your spirit sensing sabotage. And God says, you heard correctly. Heaven trusts your silence now. Heaven trusts your restraint. And because of that trust, heaven will now entrust you with more. This moment, this test, this wound, it wasn't about betrayal. It was about your peace. God was watching. Would you lash out? Would you react? Would you curse what you didn't fully understand? Or would you rest in the mystery and trust that heaven would handle the unveiling? And you chose peace. You chose stillness. And now, the verdict has been delivered. Michael speaks. You passed. Now favor follows. The test wasn't just about their lie. The test was about your ability to stand in silence without surrendering to bitterness. The test was about holding your posture while heaven held your case. And you passed. You passed when you refused to gossip. You passed when you chose prayer over panic. You passed when you smiled back, not because you were blind, but because you were wise enough to wait. Now comes the release. Now comes the reward. Now comes the revealing. Not just of who they were, but of who you are. God didn't just protect you from them. He promoted you through them. The sabotage is being exposed, but more importantly, your purpose is being exalted. What was meant to slow you down has now been turned into a launchpad. What they meant for harm, heaven has bent toward your destiny, and there is nothing they can do to stop it now. You are stepping into clarity, stepping into visibility, stepping into a season where God says, no more deception. From this point forward, you will see it before it speaks. You will sense it before it strikes. Because heaven has not just protected your path, heaven has sharpened your vision. If this message confirmed what you've been feeling, consider giving a super thanks with a contribution of $20. Your generous support helps us release more prophetic words to uplift and prepare the chosen. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Don't forget to subscribe for weekly prophetic insight, spiritual strategies, and divine encouragement that keeps you equipped and elevated. Type "My next has come" in the comments if you receive this message. Lesson code 4114 has now opened your prophetic gates. Declare it now. I will not be shaken. I will be strengthened. This is not just a declaration. It is a decree. A statement not made in emotion, but in divine recognition. Because everything that has happened was not about betrayal. It was about birth. What you thought was loss was actually beginning. What you thought was the end was the unlocking of your assignment. You are not just walking out of a painful encounter. You are walking into the full activation of your destiny. Heaven has waited on your yes. Not the surface level yes, not the lip service yes, but the surrendered yes. The kind that comes from scars and fire and silence. And now, because you said yes when it hurt, yes when it didn't make sense, yes when you had every reason to walk away, now comes the release. Now comes the access. Now comes the deployment. You are being launched, not by man but by mandate. You are stepping into purpose, not shaken, not shattered, not scattered, but unbothered. Let them speak. Let them twist. Let them question. None of it touches your throne. None of it delays your timeline. What heaven has written about you is not up for debate. The darkness behind that smile was never your downfall. It was their undoing. The moment they agreed in secret to move against you, the courts of heaven issued your advancement. You are not stuck. You are not small. You are sent. Now write. Now build. Now speak. But do it after silence. Do it after stillness. Because your movement now must be governed by clarity, not confusion. You are too precious to be pulled into emotional warfare. Your time is too sacred to be wasted on battles beneath your calling. So move with precision. Speak with way. Don't try to convince, command. The world will recognize what God has already established. And you don't need to shout to be heard. Your presence is a voice in the spirit. Your calling demands clarity, not competition, not comparison. Clarity. And now you have it. You see who they are. You see what the moment meant. You see who stood with you. You see what almost trapped you. And you see yourself in the fullness of your grace. What you carry cannot be contained. It cannot be hidden. It cannot be sabotaged. The glory on you is speaking now, louder than their whispers, stronger than their smiles. Walk boldly now. Walk knowing that you are walking with angels. Walk knowing that the shift in the heavens has marked you as chosen. The delay is over. The confusion is clearing. The warfare has broken. Destiny is calling you by name, not with fear, not with fragments, but with fire. The heavens have bent in your direction. The voice of the Lord has broken through the noise. The seal is off. The scroll is open. Your name is on the assignment. So stand up. Wipe your tears. Fix your crown. They thought the lie would silence you. They thought the smile would confuse you. They thought your silence was surrender. But they didn't know who was standing behind you. They didn't know who was whispering to you in the quiet. They didn't know that your discernment was rooted in fire. And now they'll see. Not your wrath, but your rise. The darkness behind the smile was never your responsibility. It was never your fight. It was their test and your transition. They failed by choosing deception. You passed by choosing stillness. And now, the reward is yours. Walk into it, without apology, without explanation, without fear. Type "I am walking into destiny" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 2882 is now releasing doors you forgot you even knocked on. While you stayed silent, while you sat still, cried quietly, and bit your tongue, angels were speaking for you. Yes, when you thought nothing was happening, everything was being restructured. Archangel Michael stood in divine authority, not just protecting your peace, but negotiating your restoration. There was a transaction in the spirit, and you were the beneficiary. The pain was real, but the purpose was greater. While your heart was processing confusion, the heavens were processing justice. You didn't need to fight for it, because heaven already paid for it. The betrayal didn't go unnoticed. The lie didn't pass by unseen. And while you mourned in silence, the spirit realm began shifting in your favor. Your tears spoke volumes. Your silence carried weight. You were not abandoned. You were covered. In the realm you couldn't see, your name was being cleared. Your reputation was being defended. Your future was being rewritten in light, not shadows. Michael moved with authority, not as a messenger, but as a warrior. He went where your words could not. He fought what your flesh could not. And he reclaimed what was stolen from your timeline. Every opportunity, every open door, every connection that was sabotaged by deception, it is now returning. Not just as it was, but multiplied. You didn't lose time. You didn't lose favor. You were simply being rerouted by God's sovereignty. Your spiritual currency has been traded back in your favor. You sowed silence, now reap visibility. You endured delay, now enter divine acceleration. You were pushed out, now watch how God pulls you in. While you rested, heaven restructured your destiny. You didn't have to chase vindication to get vindication with chasing you. Behind their smile was a plot, a strategy, an attempt to dismantle your peace. But behind your silence was prophecy, a divine script written before the foundations of the world. They didn't know who they were dealing with. They didn't know your silence was a signal to the heavens. And when they smiled falsely, heaven wept for them, because they had no idea what kind of favor they were touching. But heaven did. And now, they will see the consequence, and you will see the completion. The spirit realm tilted. The atmosphere shifted, not in chaos, but in alignment. The weight of your name, your calling, your purpose, has been adjusted back into position. This is why you feel peace again. Not because the people changed, but because the power shifted. God has given you rest because the battle has already been won. And from this point on, nothing formed against you will prosper, not because of your strength, but because of what was traded in your silence. Peace has returned, and with it, so has your confidence. So has your boldness. So has your clarity. You no longer need to question who's for you or against you. You no longer need to perform for understanding. You are seen. You are sealed. You are sent. This is the silent exchange. The moment where heaven moved on your behalf because you chose posture over pride. And now, your silence has spoken louder than any argument ever could. Type "Heaven fought for me" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1661 is surrounding your next 30 days with supernatural ease. It has begun. The unseen gavel has fallen in the courtroom of heaven, and divine justice is in motion. What they did in secret is now echoing in the spirit, not with whispers, but with thunder. What they plotted in darkness will now be dealt with in light. The same lips that smiled falsely will now tremble in truth. The reversal is active. The exchange is underway. And the one who thought they escaped accountability is about to face an exposure they never expected. What they did, says the voice of the Lord, will echo back upon them. The betrayal, the smear, the silent manipulation, it will not return void. The seeds they sowed in your absence are now sprouting in their own presence. You will not need to speak a word. Heaven has already spoken. What they thought was a harmless maneuver, heaven recorded as an act of dishonor. And dishonor always demands a response. This is not karma. This is kingdom correction. And it is swift. God is balancing what was hidden in private. The scales are not tilted in favor of the loudest voice, but in favor of the cleanest heart. And your heart, even while it broke, stayed pure. Even while you were betrayed, you didn't retaliate. Even while the pressure built, you chose posture over pride. You chose worship over warfare. You chose humility over height. And that choice has been recorded. Is now responding in the natural. The smiling betrayer, the one who masked darkness behind teeth and timing, will face public exposure. Not because you wished for it, not because you called for it, but because God is just. He is not mocked. He is not blind. And he will not allow his chosen to be handled like scraps when they were born for crowns. He will strip every false alliance. He will reveal every two-faced intention. And he will not delay, because the time of unveiling is now. Divine reversal doesn't just mean you're cleared. It means you're compensated. Everything stolen from you, emotionally, spiritually, relationally, is being returned with increase. What was robbed will be restored. What with blood will be unloved. What was delayed will be accelerated. You will not walk out of this season empty-handed. You will walk out empowered, with receipts of heaven's defense. Heaven's court has ruled. Restoration has begun. The angels have gone forth. The atmosphere has shifted. And the same realm that watched you weep in silence is now watching you rise in strength. You are not a victim. You are a verdict. A walking statement from heaven that says, God defends those who keep their hearts clean. And the one who smiled falsely will soon cry honestly. Because conviction is coming. Exposure is coming. Awakening is coming. Their mask is no longer sustainable. Their charm can no longer cover their intention. And when it all collapses, they will remember you. Not because of your pain, but because of your posture. You will become their reminder of what mercy looks like, of what grace could have preserved. But instead, their choices paved their judgment. You are walking into visible favor while they answer for hidden harm. You are entering rooms they tried to keep locked. You are shaking hands with destiny while they wrestle with conscience. But do not rejoice in their fall. Mourn for their blindness. Let your victory be silent. Let your blessing be sacred. Because you are not here for revenge, you are here for resurrection. Heaven did not just vindicate you. Heaven has elevated you. You are now a carrier of justice. Not just for yourself, but for those who will walk behind you. Your journey, your scars, your silence, they are seeds. And those seeds are rising as fruit. If you've made it this far in this prophetic moment, and it's confirmed something heaven has been whispering to you, consider supporting the release of more messages like this through Super Thanks, with contributions of up to $10. Every seed helps us continue creating powerful content to serve and uplift the chosen. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the Support Here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Make sure to subscribe for ongoing prophetic insight, spiritual warfare strategies, and divine encouragement tailor-made for your walk. Type "Justice is mine" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 8822 is enforcing divine rulings over your name right now. You were seen. You were spared. You are sealed. Let every lie fall to the ground. Let every fear break under your feet. Let every false connection melt away like mist in the morning sun. The Lord your God has not only spoken over you, He has placed His seal upon you. That seal is not fragile. It is not temporary. It is eternal. It is the mark of divine ownership. And because of that mark, no weapon, seen or unseen, shall prosper against you. Archangel Michael goes before you and behind you now. He encamps around your words, around your vision, around your children, around your calling. Every door you were afraid to knock on, it is opening. Every promise you thought had died, it is awakening. Every delay you thought was permanent, it is being undone. Not by your hand, but by the hand of the Most High. The one who calls you by name. The one who knew you before the foundation of the world. The one who assigned angels to follow you before you ever faced betrayal. What was meant to break you only broke open your blessing. That smile was supposed to destabilize you. That moment was supposed to confuse you. But instead, it clarified your crown. You are not only walking forward, you are walking in royalty. Not with arrogance, but with authority. Not with bitterness, but with boldness. Your footsteps have been routed. And where they laughed in secret, they will watch in awe publicly. Declare it now, and declare it out loud. I walk with angels. I carry light. I will not bow to deception. I will not break under betrayal. I am who heaven says I am. Let this be your anthem. Let this be your armor. In seasons ahead, when the enemy whispers again, let this word rise within you like fire. Let it remind you that no darkness hidden behind a smile can destroy the one who walks in divine light. So stay calm. Divine justice is active. It is irreversible. It is unfolding as you breathe. Rest now. The verdict has been delivered. The warfare has shifted. The smoke has cleared. And you, chosen one, you stand victorious. Because you did not move in anger. You move in alignment. You are sealed, you are seen, and now you are being sent. Now rise. Type "I am sealed" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 9991 is now marking your new beginning with supernatural rest and recovery.